Hello, hello. It's the one and only Guy Johnny, also known as Coach Johnny. This video, real quick, I wanted to put this out, man, because this is something that I was thinking about, and this is gonna be big. So when it comes to, that woman of your dreams, when it comes to getting that woman of your dreams, or getting for the woman out there, the guy that you really desire, you know, um, I've noticed that women tend to do this more than men. I think it's important for everybody to kind of do this as a balance, because you may be wondering, like, why am I not attracting the guy that I want for a lot of the women? And then for guys, guys wonder that too, but guys, a lot of the time, they just take what they can get, and it's not really that big of a thing. But women will lock down on an idea and be like, this is the person I want. And for guys, I want y'all to, that's some advice that y'all can take, but I'm gonna balance this out for the women. As a man, you first got to think to yourself, like, what is the woman that you want? Then you got to think to yourself, what is the woman that I want? What does she look like? What's her essence? Then you got to go out there. So that's step one, because a lot of dudes is going at women with no idea of what they even want. They're just going at every kind of woman. And then when they do get that woman, she might not be the ideal type of woman that he wanted. He might have just wanted to have sex with and wanted to keep things on that level. And now he's in a serious situation with her because, it don't matter whether the girl is a beautiful 10 to you or whether she's the ugliest girl to you. If you seriously start talking to her, or if you pursue her sexually, she's going to come in most cases from an angle of, okay, so what are we about to do? She's looking at the end game and trying to, see, okay, are you about to be my boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. So why even set yourself up for things like that if you know that you don't really want more than that? So you got to start dating, with from a perspective of going after what you want. And then, but the thing is, like, a lot of guys don't know what they want. So an exercise I want y'all to do is to imagine what is the ideal girl that you want. And then once you sit down and like really meditate on that and really have an idea of that, what that girl looks like, the second step is to go out there and go smack or go approach any girl that looks relatively close to that idea. Because this is where women mess up, and this is where you'll get messed up doing this. Once you got the idea in your mind, you can't get stuck with just that idea, because number one, you're going to be overly invested when you do find that girl that looks a certain way. And it's like guys are so focused on the packaging of how something looks versus the intangibles and the personality and what's actually inside of the gift. So, that's one thing is, okay, you want to go smack and try to look for girls that look like that. But at the same time, if you do that, that's going to put you in a position where you can't really go at the most women that you want to go at. And so, number one, you want to figure out where do these type of girls be in my area. If those girls aren't in your area, you have to begin to figure out, like, what is it that these kind of girls would want? What do I have to offer this kind of girl? If you notice that you like that these girls a lot of the time tend to be models or women with, like, there's a certain group of women I noticed that sell like clothes and bras and panties lines and shit like that. And if I wanted to approach them, I would reach out, hey, I do websites, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I do marketing that I can help you with just because I love your brand. They might not respond, but you have something to offer, because I look at it like this, man. When you go on these apps and a lot of people start swiping on dating apps, it's like, I think what men forget is you have to look at it from a business to business perspective. Like, if you ever go on, Bumble has a business app where you can just swipe with people for business. And if you'll be swiping on there, and you'll see men and women on there doing all different kind of things that you can connect with on a level of, let's say, like, I make music, so I'll be looking for photographers and directors. If I ever use that app, that's what I'd be looking for. And while I'm scrolling through there, the times I did use it, I'm like, oh snap, okay. You might see a girl that's beautiful, but she's pushing cybersecurity. So it's like, okay, I don't necessarily do cybersecurity, so that's not something that I care to push. There may be somebody out there doing graphic design. You may be somebody that does real estate. So it's like, I don't really need a graphic designer unless I need pictures of a space or whatever. And that's why you're matching. So I was swiping left on beautiful women because we don't align business wise. You have to look at the same thing with the woman that you want in general. You know, does she have your look? Does she have your style? Does she have your essence? Like, I have a certain type that I like. And so those qualities, you know, the girls that I talk to have to embody those qualities. So the same thing. But then the second half is going smack and not being so picky to where they have to be exactly like that. Because if you try to be so picky, nothing's going to happen. And you're going to be getting in your own way. And that happens a lot as well. So you don't want to get in your own way. You kind of want to approach freely with a target woman in mind. But you want to know who that woman is, because the last thing I'm going to say is what you'll tend to realize is like, damn, your standards are lower than you might think. Or your standards are higher than you may realize. You know, like when I was younger, I used to want the perfect girl. She had to be perfect. So I had no girlfriend because I was always trying to be like, oh, she has to be perfect. And I would have women that were the most beautiful women in the area or in my school, whether this was college, some of the most beautiful women in my school I could have. But I was so picky because I was looking for this idealized woman. And that got in the way of my game, but it helped me at the same time because I had a certain standard. So the quality of my women were very high. Then I went through other stages where I was just approaching, going smack. And some of them would be really beautiful. Some of them would be okay, you know. And we kind of rock out like that. And it's like, fuck, you know, you take all. So I feel like the truth is usually in the middle, or the best blend is in the middle. So you want to be very picky, but you want to approach everything as well that captures your attention, because they caught your attention for a reason. And that's why I think approaching during the day is so important, and at night, but especially during the day, because that's when you have the best chance to actually get a woman on a fair level where you two are talking and getting to know each other. You can really get at her. So that's really big. And I want to do some approaching workshops with the guys that I work with. You know, we're going to do them online for the guys that aren't out there. And then I want to do a session where I go out in the field with a few guys, and you all can be there to see, so that you guys can really begin to tap into this day game approaching. Because, you know, it's a disservice to women if women are only getting talked to by men at night, at clubs, you know, when that's the worst time to actually approach a woman, because there's so much going on. And don't get me wrong, at night it works fine. Like that's the normal thing to do. But it's just, man, you cut yourself off from so much during the day. Like I really feel like the most beautiful women be out during the day, and they're so available. So these are just some big things to keep in mind. But first, think about the ideal woman you want. You might realize that your standards been low, and that you've really been attracting a woman that's not nowhere near the woman that you want. That's step number one. Figure out the type of woman you want. Then, once you figure that out, you got to go out there and take the action and start approaching any girl that inspires you, that looks remotely like that woman or has that essence. And that's the combo to success when it comes to getting the woman you want. So just keep that in mind, man. I'm going to talk to you all later, and peace.